Hey everyone, Matt from Workshop Tinkerers here. This is going to be the first of a multi-part series, my first planned multi-part, and this is partially from a friend asking me to do something like this. What this is going to be about is sharpening, how to do it, when to do it. This video I will talk about what can be sharpened, when you would sharpen various things, and why. All that kind of fun stuff. So, sharpening. What do I mean by it? I mean blades of any way, shape, or form. Everything you see here, plus many more things, can be sharpened to increase their life, make them more effective, keep wear and tear to a minimum, etc., etc. Any machinist, any woodworker, and anybody who's used a pocket knife for any length of time all know this. But people who even know about it still don't know how. Like, say, Mark doesn't know how to sharpen a blade. Everything you see here can be sharpened, including hatchets and other things like that. This one actually needs quite a bit of work. I will plan on going through and sharpening pretty much everything you see here on a video. Some things will have a single video, some will be a mismatch, and some you only need to see one of. All that kind of stuff. One of the things I want to talk about, when should you sharpen? Now, if you're a woodworker and you have chisels, you have planes, you already know when to sharpen yours. You need it, if you're a fine woodworker, you need it as sharp as possible every single time you use it. You also know how to sharpen your stuff, so you don't even really need me to tell you. But if you're an amateur, say you just got your first couple of chisels and you've never sharpened it before, because they come razor sharp enough to shave the hair off the back of your hand. Okay, when do you need to sharpen that? Well, if you're doing any sort of handwork, you want it to be as sharp as possible. I do a light hone every single time I use this. Actually, right now this one's kind of messed up. I haven't gotten a chance to hone it. It doesn't have its mirror anymore on either surface. That hatchet, when do you sharpen it? How sharp do you need it? Well, hatchets don't really need to be all that sharp. It's good to keep the nicks out of it, like you see here. This is a cheapo I got from Harbor Freight. It works for me. In some situations I actually have a much nicer one I use outside, but this one's just for its uses. How often do I sharpen this? Well, not nearly often enough, but it doesn't really need to be. I use this to split, mostly. Not real much sharpness needed, but some. What do you use to sharpen this? A file. I don't need anything more finer than a file for this particular hatchet. Now, my chopping axe, I will take down to a near mirror finish. I won't do a mirror finish. Scissors. Yes, you can sharpen scissors. I actually, when doing the review on this, when I first bought them, I sharpened them as part of the review. I didn't really show you how, but I still did some because straight out of the box, they were terrible. Sharpened, they're actually good. I use them for sewing. How often should you sharpen them? It depends. You use it for sewing all the time. Make sure they're as sharp as possible. If you use it on nothing but cloth, it'll stay pretty sharp. You don't have to sharpen as much. Maybe a quick hone. Now, you use them for paper, they need to be sharpened a lot more often. But on the other side, they don't need to be as sharp. They're nicer when they're sharp. Same with cutters. Yes, you can sharpen these. I haven't sharpened this set. It's new to me. It came in an eBay box. I love eBay boxes. And I can't find my nice set. They're gone. I don't know where they went. Sharpen as needed. Once it gets too dull, it starts tearing the coverings instead of cutting them. Sharpen them. Knives. I got several sitting here. Keep them razor sharp. Safer, easier. Something like this, a cheapo, this cost me like $1 15 years ago. I don't sharpen it. I should. I tried to yesterday, and if you can see, there's a nice little S shape in the blade, and that's probably why I don't sharpen it anymore. I really should throw it away, but I'll probably try to fix it. Pocket knife, I have a everyday carry. This is a double-edged, so it's got a bevel on both sides. Keep it razor sharp. I use this to open boxes at work. It goes dull extremely quick. I sharpen about once a week because it needs it. Multi-tool blade, this is an example of a single bevel. Unfortunately, it's extremely dirty. Let's see if I can clean that up a little bit so you have some idea. There you go. You can see it better now. This is a single bevel, if you can see it, plus scalloped. You can sharpen scallops, serrations. They're more difficult. I'll show you how to do it once I get the correct files. They're in the mail right now. Focus. There it is. But as you can see, it's just got one edge and it's flat. You can sharpen this. It's actually easier, I think. Much easier. It's like sharpening a chisel. Flat, edged. There you can see it. Everything. You can even sharpen a saw. I need to clean up the saw. I'll probably do a quick one where I clean it up and then sharpen it. This is just a simple cross cut, I believe it's called. I'm not 100% sure, but the serrations are even. I have another saw which has, it's a rip cut, and it has weird angles. I'll probably do a quick one of both. I know how to sharpen both of them. The other one's a pain in the butt. But that's why, when, and how you sharpen it when you need it to as sharp as you need it. Something like an axe, you don't need to sharpen as much. You can use a file. It's quick and easy. Something like woodworking tools, you want it as sharp as possible every single time you use it. Pocket knife, when it gets dull, you can, oh, forgot to say, you can sharpen twist bits, drill bits. This one has not been sharpened. Actually, yeah, it needs it. It's kind of dull. I'll get to that later. There's plenty of other machinists who are probably far better at it than me that you'd probably be best to go watch for that. I'll put it out there, but I'm not the best at it. I am quite willing to say, but that's when and how. As sharp as you need it, as often as you need it. I'm going to go over materials needed to sharpen pretty much anything that you could possibly think of. To sharpen a flat blade, there's several different things you can do. You can go with just wet dry sandpaper and a piece of granite, perfectly flat granite, or anything that you can buy, or a piece of glass. I use a mirror that I have. As long as it's perfectly flat, it's perfect for straight blades, like a knife or chisels or anything woodworking, as long as it's all straight. Most people think when they need to sharpen a blade, they need something like one of these. This is what I used when I first was taught. Ooh, it's a little dirty. Taught how to sharpen a blade. This is just a standard, something around 100 grit whetstone. You soak it in water. Don't spit on it. That's disgusting. Even though that's how I was taught when I first was taught. And you just hold your blade and pull it across. Now, that works. You can also use something like this. This is a Spyderco whetstone. It's ceramic, medium grit, but medium grit for Spyderco is super fine for most other places. I actually rarely go any finer than this, as this is all I need. This is a proper heavy-duty, large size whetstone. I use it very often. As I said, that's usually my finish unless I'm going super fine. You can use files depending on the application. I will be using it for stuff like an axe when I show you how to sharpen my hatchet, which actually needs a lot of work. You can actually use files on knives. When I sharpen my knives that I make in the forge, I use a file, or I use the belt sander, sorry. Depends on how much you need it correct. This is rough, fine, finest. You can use different shape files. This one's for sharpening chainsaw. You can use stuff like triangular files, which is for saw blades. You have round, you have partial round, you have all different ones for doing scallops and whatever you need to use. I'm going to be mostly using either the whetstone or sandpaper wet dry on glass. And the wet dry I like because I can start with something low like 320, 400, low grits, very, very, very rough, to something very fine. I have up to 3000. Quick explanation on grits is the lower the number, the rougher it is. The higher the number, the finer it is. So if I say, oh, I'm going to use 800 grit, it's pretty fine. Woodworkers think it's ridiculous. Steel metal workers say, are you going to a mirror finish? Because that's a good step. If you're going for just a brushed finish, that's too far. Stuff like that. As I said, this is about 100. It's pretty rough. It's very nasty. But it's good for taking material off fast and getting it close, fine, super fine, all that kind of stuff. Everything you need to do. Now, I'll put it out there. I will say different grits. I use different ones. I use a range because I have it. If you're sharpening a knife and all you have is a single block, use it. It's better than not sharpening at all. Now, on the other hand, people will say, well, you're sharpening knives. What about something like this? What about something like this? These are two knife sharpeners I have. They're fine, they're dandy, they're good for quick and dirty. This one actually has a scissors and scissors blade and then single-sided blades. They say it's garden tools, but it's also good for my single-edged blades, because there you go. But I mean, yes, it works. I won't say it doesn't work. It's a fixed angle. It's good for beginners. It keeps them from hurting themselves. This one's too messed up to actually use it, which is funny to me. Nothing wrong with them. This one's meant for kitchens. If you don't know how to sharpen and you want something quick and dirty, these work. I prefer with stone. So I'll put that out there. You have it. That's what you want to use. It works. I don't like them, though I own them, of course. So, materials. Stones, files, whatever you need. If you have it, use it. If you don't have it and you want it, get it. If you don't have it, don't want it, don't care. You just, good enough is good enough. Fantastic. Go for it. So, there's that. The next one will be sharpening a pocket knife. Particularly this one, probably some of this one. See you next time.